Hello and welcome back to Mellohi, a Dream SMP podcast. This is episode 55 and today we'll be discussing Dream's character once again. Welcome back.
Hello!
I'm here now, again.
Yes, we're all here this time, except, Sabu.
So I have had exams, I have not been keeping up with lore. What has happened? I've got no idea. Explain it to
I
me.
feel like not a lot that I'm aware of.
I mean, we had the whole George and Saptap go crazy, and Foolish being a target, and then Amesy being a target, and then Dream showing up.
Okay, so the last bit of lore that I really watched was the thing where Tommy and Wilbur broke into the prison to talk with Dream, and so I didn't watch the stream with Foolish that happened after or anything since then.
I've watched everything that happened on that day and nothing since, because I wasn't aware of it. Because ever since the Dream SMP Updates Twitter account stopped working, I haven't been getting... yeah, they got, shut down, or I don't know, that account no longer exists. We don't know. That account no longer exists, so, I follow a different one now, but I never turn notifications on for it, so I don't know when people go live, except Dream, cause I have a Dream Updates account that's,
Yeah.
notifications are on, so.
I guess I could explain what happened, during the whole... It's, the usual George and Sapnap get together on the SMP and then cause chaos?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's basically what happened. George, I did not catch the beginning of it.
I did hear about this. Hold on, I know what you're talking about. I didn't watch it, though. Yeah. They went on the server and they were,
No,
typical...
actually, they went
assholes.
live right after we recorded last week.
Yeah, and they were just
assholes.
I've seen clips of because Foolish was streaming at the time, and then they were streaming, and someone has made a compilation of Foolish's perspective and Sapnap and George's perspective of their interaction,
so
and it's hilarious because Sapnap's talking this super dramatic voice, you have to listen to us or I'm gonna kill you, with this dramatic music, and then and you switch to Foolish and it's just this very calm, either silent or it's Kirby music, and he's just what the hell are these idiots doing? And it's just such a good contrast, and I'm just oh my god.
I think the people have talked about how it's almost it's exactly the same vibes as when Dream was on a stream speaking to us on the Dream SMP, and Bad encounters him going, "Oh my god." Screaming, running away, yelling. And then it's back to Dream.
Just so dramatic. And very much a them thing to do. But
very much.
Oh my god, those little dumbasses. Oh my lord. And it's just a whole thing. They're just so stupid. It's just them being chaotic little shits, and it's just alright. Okay, I guess. Sure,
I mean,
this is happening.
We got some interesting tidbits from it, though. I'm considering this lore because they were basically in... This is how Sapnap does lore, okay? This is how GNF...
Yeah. I am curious how much of it's, canonical lore or whatever, because doesn't Dream, kill George?
By accident.
By accident.
Because Foolish crit... Dream was behind a wall. Foolish crit George behind that wall, and then George went upwards, and Dream was shooting, warning arrows, and George walked into the arrow and died.
Oh no, their romance. It's so tragic now. What are they gonna do? Oh no. How will they ever reconcile? Oh god.
Don't worry, George found a new love, Sapnap. No, that's just an NCC.
Yeah, that's a whole MCC thing. Yeah, what else happened during that? I know did they actually blow up the mansion?
No. So what happened was,
Okay. I saw all the TNT in it, and I thought I know they like blew up or like destroyed Tubbo's house. Like I saw.
Okay.
Like they put a giant hole in the side of it, and I think they killed all of his villagers.
Well, he's moved on to a newer pastures. It's fine.
Has he? Did Tubbo move?
Tubbo moved like 3,000 blocks in the Nether, outside of spawn.
Oh, I mean, that's a smart move, to be honest. Given.
Yeah. No, I think. So, I did not catch everything because I missed the first part of the stream. But I believe the parts I caught was George and Sapnap threatening Foolish in his house, saying, "If you light the TNT and blow it up, or we'll do it or we'll kill you." And Foolish was like, "Go ahead, do it, light it up. Well, kill me. Come on, I'm not gonna blow up. I'm not gonna blow up this mansion I built."
Yeah, why would he?
Took him so long, man. And then I believe Sapnap and George, they start lighting up TNT, but they place water just as it's about to explode, so it doesn't do any actual structural damage. And then Ainsley goes on. Yeah.
I knew that they had like put the TNT everywhere. I just kind of assumed they went through it.
I don't think even they would blow up something Foolish spent months building.
I don't know. I kind of like the policy of nothing is sacred on this server. Mostly because I think Dream would get mad at them.
That's
true. Dream does tend to rein them
probably get mad at them for blowing up Foolish's mansion. But yeah. Because, like, I feel like there's a difference between a beloved pet and then something you literally put your blood, sweat, and tears into and went insane over for 3 months.
Yeah, that mansion, man. I think that was, like, one of his, like, first, like, big builds other than his summer base.
Yeah. Dude, the
and
Dream
it kind of was, like, the proven, like, everyone knew he was a good builder, but it was kind of the moment of proof to, like, everyone else, like, oh, we can get him to build stuff for us.
Dude, Kanoko XD statue, the fucking pyramid took less time than that fucking mansion.
Yeah, the mansion's fucking insane.
It's not just huge, it's complicated. There's so many walls, and there's like interior walls.
Yeah, it's just...
Most hermits don't have interior walls.
Yeah. It's just a whole... I don't even know what to say about it, right? Because, like, he put so much effort into that, and it's just fucking insane, the size of it. And the fact that it never gets used for anything is a little depressing.
Well, AMZ used it for a little bit, and then got kicked out.
Nice. Nice.
By the person who doesn't use it for anything. No, but it's just...
Was there, like, some lore with AMC? I think I heard something about that.
Yeah, so AMC logged on, and that distracts George and Satnap, and they're like, oh, you know what, let's go mess with AMZ instead, because Foolish isn't fighting. He's not raising to the bait. So they leave, Foolish cleans up the TNT, and they head towards AMZ, and then Foolish learns, I think from chat, that they're planning on killing AMZ, either from, like, the chat logs, or just chat itself, so it's like, and he thinks about and then he starts heading towards AMZ's place, and he wonders, should I help AMZ? Should I save them, or should I just let them go through with it because it's going to give me souls for XC? As he's running towards AMZ's place.
Right. So even in that moment, he's like, he's just already going, alright.
He's already going. He's pondering, should I really go help as he's heading over? No.
Good man, good man.
Man, Foolish is such a nice guy. It's difficult to say. Like, I think he's a good person, and I also think he's an asshole sometimes.
His characters, both, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a weird little conundrum.
Yeah. So Sapnap and George, they head over to Ainsley's place, and they're like, "Haha, I tricked you, Ainsley!" and start spicing TNT down everywhere. I don't know what they threaten them with, because it's weird.
Yeah, of course.
But I think they ask Amesy to blow up the place or die. I think it's the same question they asked Foolish. And Amesy's it's really sad because Ames like, "Hi everybody," and then they're just standing there like expecting a nice welcome of people on the server, and Sapnap and George come in with TNT, their bows out, their crossbows out, whatever. They've got their swords, and they're holding Amesy at gunpoint, essentially, going, "Blow up your house or we'll kill you!"
Ah, sounds like them. Is anyone surprised, to be honest? Even remotely surprised. They're just kinda like that.
Foolish arrives, but not before, like, they've already set things up. And Foolish is standing on... I think he curls up to the tree above in Amesy's place, and he's looking down at them, and he's wondering if he should intervene or not. And then Sapnap, I think, gets hit with an arrow, flaming bow arrow. And you look, and if you look to the side on Foolish's screen, you actually see Dream crouching in the corner, because sometime during all this, Dream logs on.
He's stealth assassinating. Nice, good job. Good man. Oh. Poor Amesy, to be honest. They joined the server and everything just goes to hell.
I know!
Nothing good happens when you join the SMP. Nothing good
Unless you're
happens.
CPK.
Unless you're CPK. CPK's actually not done too badly for himself.
Yeah.
Somehow.
He's managed to trick everyone he's pissed off into blowing up someone else's house.
Yeah! That's the #1 strategy right there. Nothing else, just, get everyone else to die. That's
yeah. So Dream shows up, like, "Oh my gosh, it's Dream." Ah.
We love
but he doesn't intervene, but you can see him crouching in the corner, and then behind the wall outside of Amesy's place, and then Sapnap's like, "Oh," because Foolish "I didn't shoot that arrow," and then Sap's like, "Oh, it's Dream. I can see you, Dream," he says. And it's really funny because Dream is in the call with them, but I think Sapnap's muted him.
Good job, Sapnap. Nicely done. Oh my god, he would, wouldn't he?
I think Sapnap had him muted earlier, and he just didn't unmute him until a little later. But because I think Dream was asking them to to not do it and not actually blow up the mansion or whatever. Sapnap got annoyed.
Not that worked, but good try.
But yeah, so they keep threatening, and then Sapnap says something to Amesy about the death book. It's "I can use your life for use in the death book." Mm-hmm. Which is is that lore? Is that lore? Lore? Death book lore?
Kinda.
Could you substitute the cost of the death book by using someone else's life instead? That's...
Huh.
Yeah.
I kinda wonder. I don't know. I mean, I could see that maybe working.
Depends on what
Possibly.
XD is feeling. And, okay, there's a really weird feedback happening in my mic, and it's just... Sorry.
Oh.
Every time I speak a little too loudly, my right headphone just goes...
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. But I believe, some more posturing happens, some more arrows are, shot in front of Sapnap and George, and then Sapnap kills Amesy. And then Amesy drops 4 totems of undying that
What
they,
the
for
hell?
some reason, did not have equipped.
Wait, why did they have 4 totems of... Oh, I bet they got them from Ghost Boo. Never mind. I was like, how would you have gotten those? I was like, wait, never mind.
Rambo.
You're friends with the rich dead man. Never mind, I understand.
Yeah, and Satma's like, ooh, I want those, and goes and steals them.
Of course he does.
This prompts Foolish, and I think Dream as well, to, like, enter and intervene, and, like, so Foolish jumps in to, like, sort of fight them off. Dream also enters, and I believe into like, Amesy's home is enclosed by a wall, so he pillars up, jumps in, and breaks all the TNT while George and Sapnap are distracted, which is, like, Dream willingly putting himself into an enclosed space just to help a random stranger he's never met.
Yeah, it's interesting, that he's doing that, right? Because...
Sapnap wants to kill him.
Yeah, but also just, why would you? You don't know this person, like, you're not involved with them. Yeah, you don't owe them anything. But, here he is anyways.
Because he's a good person, damn it. No, I mean... he's not a good person, but I think he's, like, like, it's a sort of, like, nature versus nurture thing. It's in his nature to do good things. And, like, help people and give them stuff and be kind. But, like, the server doesn't let him, so he has to be something else. Right?
I don't know.
Because, like,
it's hard to say. Like, I don't think he's not, like, an evil monster by nature, but he does some fucked things. I don't know if I could call him, like kind-hearted at the core, because he's really not. Like, even if he does good things.
I say it's very similar to the way Techno is kind. Because Technoblade's not nice, but he's kind, right?
Yeah.
I think at heart, Dream is without anything else sort of like muddling what he's likely to do. He is a pretty giving person. Dude, he gives Bad Boy Halo and Skeppy like totems of undying. He like. Actually, did he give CPK anything? I don't remember, but I don't think he gave CPK anything. But he gave Aaron like a totem of undying as well. When he's in the prison with him. Yeah, but when he's in the prison with him, Tommy asks for a potato, he just gives one unthinkingly.
It's weird, he's like nice but also not at the same time. he's both. I mean, I guess that's not weird, because like real people are like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they'll do nice things and then also be a petty asshole at the same time, and that's kind of like the definition of him, so
yeah.
You know.
I'd say like when he's not thinking about stuff, he instinctively gives other people things or tries to protect them or mediates conflicts.
Yeah. He's definitely like a mediator type person, which doesn't seem like he would be, considering, like, you know, he does, at least, even if he doesn't cause it, he gets himself involved in a lot of conflicts, usually not on the nice side of the board, but, like, it's interesting, because, like, and this is going to turn into an episode where we just talk about Seedream a lot, which, you know, fair, he's kind of all of our favorite characters. It's interesting, because he's not a nice person, he's not a good person, he's not pure evil, he's a bad person, let's be real, he's a bad person, like, you see the shit he does, he's a bad person, he's not evil, but he's a bad person, but it's just, he doesn't, like, he does.
Well, I mean, I want to say there aren't good or bad people, there are good or bad actions, though.
I feel like if you do enough bad actions, you're sort of a bad person, though, to be fair.
I don't know.
I agree with you. Like, I don't think someone
thinking about a good person is more about, like, motive.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think someone can be, like, a purely good or a purely bad person. Like, I don't think that's possible. But, like, just based off his actions, and, like,
I'm not
his
going to
motives.
excuse his actions, like, bleh. I'm not trying to excuse his actions, but I feel like the kind of person he is at his core isn't the kind of person obviously it's not the person he tries to show off or pretend to be. Because, like, when you see him do all these acts of kindness that he really shouldn't do, or doesn't have to do, probably shouldn't do, and that also puts him in, like, potential danger. Like, he walks, like, because, like, Dream, last time he logged off, presumably, was somewhere near Foolish's summer home. And when he logs in this time, I'm pretty sure he basically just ran the entire way to where Ames's home was, only to come just in time to watch Amesy die, basically. And even then, he still chooses to enter, like, this enclosed area. Well, he could escape, but it's like, he's dealing with a lot of shit, and he still decides to try and help someone else out. Right? He didn't have to log on, he didn't have to go towards where Sapnap or George was, or to where Amesy's place was. He didn't have to do any of that, but he chose to do it anyways. With more reasons to not do it than to actually do it, and he still chose to do it. Like, that's what I say when I think by nature he is really strangely nice.
Yeah, he's definitely, like, he's not like a... Like, I know he's, like, you know, he's the bad guy, like,
yeah.
He's a Billie Eilish bad guy, but it's, he does do nice things every once in a while, like, it's interesting, it depends on whose story you're watching, to be fair,
yeah.
Like, if you're watching from SBI, yeah, he's just a douchebag who's evil.
Well, not even
and,
SBI,
like,
if you're watching from Tommy's perspective, specifically,
well, that's
if you're
true.
watching
Like, if
Tommy
you're not watching,
Phil's, if you're watching from Technos, he's just a guy. If you're watching from Tommy's perspective, he is the most evil villain of all time. If you watch from Phil's perspective, he thinks he's a bad person, or like Phil does not like Dream.
If you watch from Techno's perspective, he's just a guy.
He is just a guy, which is probably the most actual. Real
I just honestly, like, I think the fact that I started watching from Techno's perspective, like, is where I got, like, a lot of my perspective on Dream.
Yeah.
Just because I started off with my perspective of him being, he's just some guy.
If you, like, watch early SMP from Tommy's perspective, Dream is someone to topple, to beat, right? To lord over.
Mm.
And if you watch Wilbur's perspective, Dream is also that person to Wilbur. And then afterwards, he becomes and then after Impactopia, he becomes a benefactor. But he's still something Wilbur likes to boss around and lord over and, like, look how a little bit. Because I am Wilbur's. Nah.
Yeah.
That's just me, though.
I remember, like, way back when I first got into the fandom, like, I did this whole analysis of the whole Vassal speech stream. Again, like, by word, timestamps included.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, my interpretation has definitely shifted a bit since then, but, like, there's still value in that interpretation. And I know it's, like, a lot of other people who like Dream's character, he don't interpret it that way. But basically, the way I saw it was essentially Wilbur is threatening Dream by saying that if he takes back power in Manberg, he will be worse than Schlack currently is. So therefore, Dream should help him just destroy it all.
Yeah. That's sort of I don't remember the details of that speech anymore because it's just been a while. But my interpretation of the sort of vibes happening was Wilbur is in charge, and Dream is his vassal, not the other way around. Like.
I know, like, there's other interpretations of it, and I think, like, specifically, like, Apple's interpretation of it, and the main difference between our interpretations is just how we interpret Dream just, like, agreeing to meet with Wilbur, because I see that as him being like, okay, I'll hear him out, and Apple sees that as Dream agreeing to help Wilbur.
Yeah, because it's like, I feel like I like the idea. I feel like the idea that Dream was just, okay, let's hear him out, let's actually speak in person and talk about what we're gonna do instead of over text. is probably, for me, it's a more reasonable thing to assume than to assume that Dream completely understood what Wilbur wanted and automatically, immediately, completely agreed with what he wanted to do. Because his response was a little
yeah,
too
like I think
quick,
it's
right?
actually like a really good example of like how an analysis, even just like a minor difference in how you interpret a certain event or a certain line, can have huge impacts on how you view an entire scene or an entire event.
Yeah. So I feel like...
So like if you ever see someone you're like doing analysis and you're like, how the hell did they get that? It could just be a situation like that where they just interpreted like one thing slightly differently.
Yeah.
And that changed the entire meaning of the scene for them.
Yeah. Because like, and this is going a little meta again, but every single time Dream has spoken about Mamberg before that vassal scene that I found quite at least I found like at least 3 clips or something. I found a few things, but every single time, even when he had no reason to, or he wasn't in the presence of the Pogtopians at all, he insisted on calling Mamberg La Mamberg, and that to me sort of proves that content creator Dream at the very least was 100% on Pogtopia's side up until that vassal speech. Because like he when Carl is giving Alyssa a tour of the Dream SMP, he shows her Mamberg and says, and Dream's like, oh, where are we now? Is this, and Carl's like, yeah, this is Mamberg, and Dream like, no, this is La Mamberg. And then Carl's like, yeah, whatever.
He's pointed about that.
Yeah, he's very pointed. He gets everybody to stop talking just so he can say, Carl, I will never call this place Mamberg. And he corrects Sapnap when Sapnap says he corrects Tommy when Tommy says it. Like, dude was very much on Pogtopia's side, at least up until the vassal speech and stream, right? So something shifted there. That's what my belief is. That Dream was 100% on Pogtopia's side, and then something happened during the vassal speech, maybe a little before, maybe probably afterwards, that caused him to change his mind and switch sides. Because, like, why be so insistent on that point if not to show support to the people you are supporting?
Yeah, that's fair. Huh.
And, like, it wasn't that late night Carl stream. No one from Pogtopia was gonna see it. He didn't have to, and he didn't even have to insist on it either, right? Because he didn't have to make everybody quiet down and ask Carl to actually listen to him when he says, because Carl kind of just sort of breezes over and says, yeah, sure, whatever, Mamberg. And, like, instead of letting it go, Dream he pushes the point and insists on calling it La Mamberg and not Mamberg. And I'm like, just like, why would someone who is only pretending to be on Pogtopia's side do something like that when it literally doesn't matter if he agreed or if he didn't agree or if he pushed or if he didn't push? Because the people he is supposedly...
Like, I really feel like the whole, Dream was never on the Mamberg side thing. It's, like, a big case of when people see a character change their opinion on something and they view that as the character always thinking that, instead of, character development happening.
Yeah, I feel like at the very least that he was probably less on Wilbur's side and more on Tommy's side, because at that point the relationship was still pretty friendly-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And that was why he wanted to help Pogtopia and he wanted to help Tommy in particular, and that's probably also why, because he makes a big point out of names, right? Because before even Twin Lamamberg, I think it was not when Lamamberg, but before Lamamberg got its independence, he insisted on calling it Laman Childberg.
To be fair, they are man-child.
I mean, yes, he wasn't wrong, but I feel like that was a sticking point to sort of his character, quote unquote, or a sticking point to him, because before Lamamberg got his independence, they're just a bunch of children, And then Manberg became a thing, but that's still not Manberg, that's still a Manberg to him, because he doesn't recognize Schlapp's rule necessarily.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why I think that something happened to, like, I'm just repeating myself, but that's why I think that the vassal speech was when a shift happened in his head, and he goes from, oh, I'm going to help Tommy/Proctopia, to, well, I guess I'm gonna be on my own fucking side now. And give Wilbur TNT to blow shit up.
Yeah, I mean, that is the life, isn't it? Just give
Yeah.
other people TNT so they can go and do terrorist acts, you know? You don't have to do the work yourself.
Yeah.
You want that country gone? Just find the right unstable man.
But yeah, but I I want I do know, like, before, and it's kind of during the prison arc, a lot of people like to say that Dream didn't change much between Season 1, Season 2, Season 3. And I would like to put in the argument that yes, it's like, it's weird because I'm not a 100% one or the other. My interpretation is that his core self stayed more or less the same, but, like, he still had character development from Season 1 into Season 2 and then beyond. Like,
I don't think you can say that, like, what happened in Season 1 didn't affect his character in some manner, because it was kind of important that, like, that whole deal with, like, what happened with L'Manberg during that time is definitely pretty important to
it's
his
a huge
character.
part of his character. It makes him go from being like, I can talk to these people and reason things with them, to I have to take things into my own hand and blow shit up because the only thing they'll respond to is violence.
Yeah. It definitely, like, to be fair, my lore analyzing brain has sort of died the last week, so I can't really, I feel like I can't, like, make any, like, good analysis here that hasn't already been, like, something somebody else did ages ago, way better. But
creativity is just
I used up all my analysis brain on my history and English exams.
Yeah, it's just not gonna happen today.
And again, like, I haven't watched most of the lore, so I can't really say that much about it.
Cause, like, I don't want to say, like, yeah.
He's just, you know, he's just him. He's just a guy. He's just a little guy. He just does some funky stuff.
Yeah, like,
maybe he's listening to this and somehow doesn't like Character Dream.
What are you
I'm so
doing
sorry.
on a
How did
podcast?
you end up?
Do you try going back and watching?
Like, we end up. I think you could probably, like, do a counter of, like, going through every single
we talk about
episode
Dream at
we've
least
done.
once.
Yeah, and I think you could probably say, like, you could make a solid list of, like, every episode where the Mellohi staff talks about Dream or Character Dream for more than 5 minutes of the episode.
Yeah.
Remember the Sandberg episodes?
Yeah. I feel like you mentioned him in there
if you're
somewhere,
watching
probably.
this, if you are watching this podcast, like, latest to earliest, go back to the earlier episodes where we talk about the Sandberg a ton, because I know it's just a really fun time in the lore.
Yeah.
Bad, you should
We talked a lot
log
about,
into
like,
full-
comparisons between the Sandberg and the Manberg and how it's kind of like parodying it.
Yeah. I'm like, and you kind of see it happening as well, and it's really subtle, and it's not in your face because he doesn't fucking stream, the asshole. when changes in his mindset sort of happen, like, he goes from speaking up and defending his actions and perspective to outsiders on the whole independence of L'Manberg, and then he gives up on it. He literally stops caring he stops trying to convince other people that he's not the bad guy, and he starts giving up on it and starts leaning into that perspective instead, because no one's going to give him the time of day, no one's going to listen to them, so why bother?
This kind of reminds me of the trauma interpretation, which, for those not familiar, was So back in like early like Freebird Dream Apologist days, right? In like
Yeah.
winters to
I remember
spring
that when that was
2021.
It was
So there were two primary interpretations among Character Dream fans, and those are the strategist interpretation and the trauma interpretation.
Yeah.
And so far, especially with stuff like stage finale being revealed and getting more insight on his character, at the moment strategist interpretation is very much like the one that most people accept.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think,
Although
the more
to different
likely
like
to be fair.
extremities. But the trauma interpretation is pretty interesting because it basically was Dream was treated like a villain even when he was trying to do the best, that his sort of like image of himself changed to him being the villain, so he figured that the only way he could help the server was by being the villain.
It was basically
And essentially
sad movie hours.
a strategist interpretation had the stage finale for the trauma interpretation that was basically just like a mental breakdown essentially.
Yeah. It was
Because obviously because we kind of all agreed that the stage finale didn't really make much sense. It was just like different ways of explaining that.
Yeah. I mean, I think there is
that's the finale. I think I just said stage finale, but just like the disc finale in general.
Yeah.
We all kind of agreed that didn't make much sense,
Yeah.
so there was two different interpretations to explain that.
There's the thing though, is that like basically the traumatized interpretation, it was just like him being like, I just want to help everybody. I'm just a sad little movie boy, and I just want to help everybody, but they all hate me, so I guess I'll just accept it. And it's funny though because like
in a way that is what happened.
Well, no, I mean, there is elements of it, but it's not as, like,
happens.
Crying and being, like,
literally.
And the other thing is that there's also, like, he is, like, I don't know, Strategist Dream is definitely the more, like,
Tragic.
likely, like, canon, and it's just, like, he is traumatized, like, even... It's just the version of how his trauma works is like the ultimate different. Like, because Strategist Dream is traumatized. Like just how like they're both traumatized, right? But like Strategist Dream, his method of dealing with that is just repression. It's not like silently suffering. It's like he just pushes it away and pretends it didn't happen unless it's a useful tool to him. Like, you know, trauma dumping on Foolish and being like, you know, I got tortured for like a year. It's like, yeah, okay. Like, he's a manipulative little shit, to be fair. Like, he doesn't let anything, like, he is an emotional character. He has emotional moments, but, like, he doesn't let his emotions, he tries to avoid letting his emotions affect him unless it's gonna be useful. But obviously, like, and he was really good at that before. And the way that you can tell that he's, like, fucked up about it, like, and what happened to him, and, like, in the prison and stuff, is that how he's not so good at making those decisions completely logically, you know? Like, there's the whole thing with, like, him and, like, Wilbur showing up to the prison.
There's the whole thing with the Sam stuff as well. Dude walks in trying to, like, he's basically, what he wants to do, but... what he also doesn't want to admit is what he wants is to get Sam to admit that Sam did a shitty thing to him and that Dream is valid in his hurt. And like he's like, ugh. And it's the same thing with Quackity. He's going like, well, I understand what Quackity wanted. Yeah, like shake him. He's like,
yeah, it's
I think
just
like Dream's very much like looking at Quackity and just being like, you're a terrible person, but at least you seem to be like acknowledging that.
Yeah, that's actually.
And then he's looking at Sam and it's like,
it's like
do the same.
You're kind of like me, Sam, if I were a lying little pussy.
Yeah, he's got, so that's actually an interesting point. Character Dream has this thing where, and I'm kind of curious if this has somewhat resulted from his sort of like, I don't want to call it a revelation, but his sort of, because he did have that turning point of like, in the beginning, he did justify himself, right? He's like, I'm not a bad person, like am just doing what's necessary, right? But that has changed over time. He's like, no, I'm a bad person. I'm still doing what's necessary, but I realize that I am a bad person. I realize I am not a good person. And it's interesting because he tries to force that same acknowledgement onto Sam. Which, to be fair, Sam needs that, because Sam needs to get his shit checked. But it's interesting to me, like, this, like, how much of a point this has become for him of, like, I want Sam to realize, just like how I realized, that just because I do what's necessary, I'm still a bad person. And he'd be so much better if he would just fucking realize, like, no, Sam, you are a bad person for the things that you've done. They may have been necessary, but that doesn't mean you're a good person. And that's Sam's problem. Sam, like, patently believes, he's like, no, I did what was necessary, but I'm not a bad person. I'm not evil. I'm a good person. I just did what I had to. And it's like, no, Sam, you really didn't. You really didn't have to do any of those things. You know, whether it be, allowing the torture to happen, the cutting off your boyfriend's arm, the trapping a child in willful neglect, trapping a traumatized young man in with somebody who you know for a fact mistreated them and has violent tendencies. Like, no, you're the worst at your job ever, Sam. And you did some really terrible things that even if you, like, can say, like, well, it was necessary and justify it to yourself, like, that doesn't mean you're a good person.
This is the thing I really wanted to see with Sam, and it hasn't happened yet, and I hope it will, is him essentially, I mean, I guess it's kind of happened, but it hasn't really hit, I don't think. It's basically him realizing that everything he did didn't have any point to it because Dream is out of prison and he's not actually doing anything that Sam thought he would do when he was out of prison.
Yeah.
Because I think at the moment he's just like, oh, he's just biding his time. Which I mean, like, he might be, but, like, we have no idea what his plan going forward is.
Well, I'm kind of curious because, like, I don't know what Sam thinks Dream would do. Like, obviously he didn't expect him to come back to the prison because who in their right mind would do that?
He did kind of expect him to come back to the prison for, like, a really long ass
I'm expecting
time.
He thought that he'd want to go after Tommy, which he just, like, straight up did not do.
Yeah.
Like, they have had 2 interactions since Dream escaped. One was accidental because they were in the same place at the same time and Dream decided to freak Tommy out and scare him away. And the second was because Tommy came into his house.
Yeah.
Deliberately seeking him out.
Well, to be fair, that was Wilbur dragging Tommy along by the ear.
True. Which,
yeah,
again,
like,
that was fucked up, Wilbur. Somebody get your fucking Tommy a new guiding figure in life. Jesus Christ.
Just like lift him up and say like you need to get a better big brother figure.
Yeah, he does.
The Hermit Tommy AU except like all the hermits are just horrified about Wilbur.
Honestly, character Tommy needs to just fucking leave. He needs to leave.
Yeah.
He needs to he doesn't really have a house. It's like a dirt shack, okay? And I get there's like emotional I think it might have been. And I get there's like, emotional sentimentality and whatever, but honestly, at this point, does that matter? You don't have any what good memories do you have left from here?
You should go ahead and make new ones instead of holding on to the past.
Yeah. Like, it's not
Punk building a tree just to watch it burn.
Okay, but Punk built that tree intentionally because he wanted someone to burn it down, to be fair.
The 4th time he built it, maybe. But the other times...
Listen, okay, yeah, the first couple times, yeah, no, Punk deserves better. But that last tree he made Foolish make for him, he intentionally built it and said, like, I want this to be built because I know someone's gonna burn it down because they burnt down the last 3. I want someone to burn this down so I can go to war with them. Like, that was his entire intention by building that tree, and it happened. And I'm just like, Punk, why? Why do you set yourself up for this? Oh my god. The characters in the Dream SMP all need intensive therapy.
So do we have any answers from the question of the week?
I think we did, actually.
I think we had a long discussion.
CPK or
about
BBH CPK would be interesting if it was Sam, or just someone who knows nothing about the egg and took it home and cultivated it by accident.
Yeah! I think that'd be funny. That's a good AU, though.
Just like stick it in a pot.
Yeah, it's
water
just
it.
my little evil plant
And give
buddy.
it plant food.
Woo!
Feed it little insects
When
like
you
a...
take home a Venus flytrap
like
and it
a
turns
Venus
into a giant
flytrap.
monster and tries to eat you and all your friends. Woo!
You know what's really funny to me,
Oh, what's
though?
it called? What's it called? Little Shop of Horrors?
Yeah.
I think something similar to that.
Those kind of vibes. But yeah, that would be fun. Just like something completely unintentional.
It's really funny to me, though, that the egg plot's been going on for so long, Foolish just straight up decides to end it himself.
Yeah.
Taking
And then
matters
also
into
now
my
we have
own
the whole
hands.
thing with XD wanting Foolish to kill people from him.
Yeah.
Yeah! Murder!
People need to actually be on for him to kill them, though.
See, it's interesting to me because it seems like right now his intention is to try and get other people to murder people for him so that he doesn't get the blame for it, which, you know, fair. That's smart. Like, if you need people to die, why do it yourself when you can assassinate them? Yeah, so he needs people to die. He needs them all to die.
And that's really funny that he says that and goes try and rescue Amesy anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
That's kind of like a dream
he
thing,
needs people
isn't
to
it?
die, but like he doesn't want. Like he needs them to die, but he doesn't want them to actually die. He's just like, I don't care. The funny thing is, he doesn't even care who dies. Like he doesn't care who dies. But then he sees someone about to die, and he's like, no.
I should probably interfere, but I probably shouldn't interfere, he says, going to interfere.
Yeah, it's just like, buddy, you gotta pick. Are you gonna, like, kill people to save yourself, or are you gonna try and prevent people from dying?
Yeah.
And
But
die
it's just,
yourself,
like,
maybe?
Foolish and Dream. Doing things they don't have to do and probably shouldn't do because it's detrimental to their goals.
Honestly, though.
So do you guys, what do you think we should do for the next question of the week?
Well, we talked about Sea Dream all this time again.
Okay, question for the Revive book. Because, like, Sapnap revealed, kind of, that you can trade someone else's life to use the Revive book. What do you think the cost of the Revive book
Wait,
would
no,
have been?
wouldn't that be the death book?
Oh, you mean the Death Book?
Yeah, sorry,
right?
Death book. Sapnap said you could trade someone else's life to use the Death book. So what was the cost Dream paid to use the Revive book?
I think personally I'm really in favor of it being like, that he's like giving up his ability to die. Because that would explain some of his actions, especially with the disc finale, considering he would be way more chill with dying if he knew that he couldn't actually die. And that we've seen that kind of immortality can be a thing from Foolish. And we know that comes from XD, and we also know that XD is connected to the Revive book. And presumably the Death book as well. Yeah, I think he is, because he says he put them somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like, he does respawn, so it's not, I guess it's not like a...
Yeah, but it could just mean that, like, he just has infinite respawns. Like, infinite canon lives.
That sounds like a curse when you're trapped in a torture box.
Yeah.
Yep.
That doesn't sound fun at all. More fuel for the angsty fan fictions.
I think there's already an angsty fanfic about Quackity
But
finding out
yeah,
things
I don't think he's actually like died in the prison, because then it will be noticed.
Yeah.
I think it will be like really cool if there's just like a point in the future where someone kills him and it's like canon death and they all think he's dead and then he just shows up again.
So,
And I was
sorry,
just like,
let me
what
just
the
grab
hell
my
just
stuff real quick.
happened?
Gotta go. See ya!
And this goes back to the whole thing about Dream having like question mark lives. Because that was like what Wilbur kind of like originally said when he was talking about the setting out the live system.
I don't trust anything Wilbur
And like
says
everyone thought
about anything.
that got wrecked. Yeah, but I think at that point he probably like talked to people and said like, hey, how many lives do you want?
I don't think he did, honestly. I don't think he did.
But then I wouldn't really understand why he would say that Dream had unknown lives.
Well, because he likes
Unless
to make
like Dream went and said like...
Because he likes to make Dream from Wilbur's sort of perspective and like how the story should play out, Dream.
Well, to be fair, we also just don't know how many lives Dream had at the time. Like that, you gotta remember that list is old. Like we didn't.
Yeah.
I
did think some other stuff on the list got retconned.
I mean, it's
but
very
I do like the idea of
possible
them
that
bringing them back and saying that he has question mark lives because he actually essentially has infinite lives because the Revive book.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
because like even if that wasn't the original idea, I do like the idea of them bringing that back.
Well, I was just thinking like with the question marks. My guess is that
we don't know how many times he's died.
Well, to be fair, at the time of them making that list, A, they probably didn't want to say like, oh, he has 3 lives like everyone else, or B, Dream himself was probably like, I don't know, would he have died before? Like, it's very possible that they just put question marks because Wilbur himself didn't know how many lives Dream wanted to have.
I do think it's also important to note that we don't know when they came up with the Revive book idea, but we do know that in story, Dream had already gotten the book by the time that list was released.
Yeah, and that could play a component into
So assuming
too.
that they thought up that at the same time as Dream in canon got the book,
I would say
it could be that factor.
The idea probably happened fairly early on because the prison starts being built almost as soon as like the day of
and it really
exile.
was only like a couple months in between the I got a book from Sash. And
do you think the
they revealed that
thing
was
might
a
have been a
Revival
bit
book?
retroactive?
Yeah, but I'm not sure if that happened. I think that happened after Wilbur posted the list.
Well, I don't know. I feel like it's just not like I feel like it's just kind of meh to like focus in on that list so much because it's so old, and it was
not. It's
and like it was
but I
made
think it would be
like
a fun thing for them to
like I don't think it matters, right? Like it's okay at the time it was a good reference because like, it told us how many lives people had lost from, especially on the L'Manberg side because they've lost the most lives. But I feel like outside, like at this point, it doesn't matter so much because like so many people have died. The life system's more complicated now with the revives and whatnot.
I
Different
think for
people
me,
are
it's less
added,
about the
and
list.
then like deciding
It's
how
more
many
about
lives
just
they
the
have.
concept of Dream's lives being different from everyone else's for some reason.
I mean, it's definitely an interesting thought, and I think it'd be interesting if they would play around with like how the revive book works with the person in charge of it.
But it's like, I don't think it's at least really old stuff. Well, I feel like a lot of what Wilbur says, he just sort of says things without really consulting the others entirely.
Yeah. Because
he made that whole stupid ass D&D alignment chart that everybody hates.
Most of us hate. There's a few people.
But yeah, but I do think you have to consider the fact that the fandom has influenced the story before. So it's entirely possible that Dream saw people coming up with ideas of his character being immortal and said, oh yeah, actually that sounds cool, I'm going to do it.
He could. We don't know. That's the thing, right? Like,
we don't know.
We know he's died twice. We don't know anything
But anyway, yes, we have a question. Wait, what was the question?
I was gonna ask what would be the cost of the Revive book, and could you substitute it with something else? Like how Zapnap was trying to substitute the cost of someone else's life.
Alright, so that's us for this week, I guess.
I think so.
Alright.
Hopefully I won't forget to upload the episode this time.
Good luck, Sai.
Yes, good luck.
This is what happens. This is what happens when you have exams. You just forget everything else.
I will try and remind you on Monday.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, thanks for listening to the 55th episode of Mellohi, and we hope you enjoyed it. If there's any topic you'd like to hear us discuss, feel free to leave a comment or find us on Twitter at Mellohi Podcast, where you can also ask us questions or just get updates about new episodes. We also have a Discord server that you can find a link to in the description. See you next time!